اللهم صل على أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الحمد لله والحمد حقه كما يستحقه حمدا كثيرا. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله أجمعين محمد. وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. To consider somebody to be beautiful, you will find that it is a combination of internal and external beauty. So it has to be a personality, and it has to be an external appearance of beauty, of what we'd call a physical attraction. However, the standards of beauty have changed over time, and based on changing cultural values, they differ from what they were. And to see this is when you look at the artworks that used to exist. If you look at paintings and what paintings are like now, what they used to be. Because in the past, for example, certain aspects were looked at in the style of dress code, alaykum salam, the style of the hair, the way it was worn, even in appearance. You know, if you look during the Renaissance times, a woman that was full-bodied and plump was something that was perceived to be attractive. And then you went through years as went past and different imagery. And in fact, even when people use social media filters, the filters are set in a manner to do what? To make you look like to what's in vogue and what's being followed and the trends are being set at this time. But what is beauty? Do we all perceive beauty the same? Generally, yes. If you want to say, do people see beauty the same? Generally, in a general sense, beauty is the same. There are some extra qualities that some people find more attractive than others. And that's the saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So some people see different things are more attractive. For example, with us being Muslims, hijab is beautiful to us, but it's ugly to others. People actually find it reprehensible when they see someone wearing hijab, whereas Muslims feel comfortable. They alaykum salam wa rahmatullah, and they see this as beauty. Beauty is what is suggested to people as well. See, now, you know, people that have lips that resemble a duck's bill, or people that have injected all kinds of chemicals in order to make their jawline look in a certain way, all the dermal piecings people have, you wouldn't be surprised. Like even when some females will tell you, I want to get married, can you find someone for marriage for me? Or make sure he has tattoos. Even that is seen as something that people search for. So even to the point, butchered haircuts are considered to be good and beautiful to some people. Even low-cut pants where the underwear is revealing, some people find attractiveness in that. And this is what we're talking about when we look at what people's perception is of beauty. However, firstly, let's understand what beauty is. Al-Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam says, Inna Allah jamilun. When you hear something, Inna Allah jamilun, that Allah is beautiful. So now you know that beauty is not what? It's not a physical thing. Because Allah Azza wa Jal is not physical. Allah Azza wa Jal is not tangible. Allah is not malmus. Allah is not something that you can see or touch in that manner. Allah Azza wa Jal is present and He's everywhere without being a part of anything. So, Inna Allah jamilun yuhibbul jamal. Allah is not only beautiful, He loves or He likes beauty. So this is the first thing that Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam says. So when I hear this, that when he says that Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty, I automatically know beauty is not what is this contorted belief of beauty that humanity has. This idea of beauty that people have is wrong, because Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. And there's a lot of imagery that I see that's considered to be beautiful by the masses, which isn't beautiful. So then, therefore, it cannot be beautiful. When it comes to beautifying yourself, getting dressed, just to let you know, to wear good garments, to be beautifying yourself is important in Islam. The main thing about wearing what is nice is wearing what? As the Imam says, he says, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, once again using this hadith, فَالْبُسْ, he says, فَالْبَسْ عَفْوًا وَتَجَمَّلْ. So firstly, he tells him, dress and beautify yourself. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ جَمِيلٌ يُحِبُّ الْجَمَالِ وَلَا يَكُنْ مِنْ حَلَالٍ. The first thing that I have to do in terms of beautifying myself and wearing what's nice is what I dress must be something that is permissible. For example, in the case of a man, I can't wear gold. In the case of a man, I can't wear silk. In the case of a man, I cannot dress like a woman. In the case of a man, I cannot dress resembling the unbeliever. When I say resembling the unbeliever, you know these people, they will dress like a certain type of unbeliever. If you take a look, for example, people that are into a certain type of genre of music, you know, you see them in the street, they look like that genre. This is tashabbuh bil kuffar. This is looking like the unbelievers. Even those that wore wool to show that they're ascetic. You know, the people that used to wear wool, so the simple people, or you see, have you ever seen those ones that they dress in a way to show I'm a zahid? You know, have you ever seen those wayfarers, the Sufi style dresses? And they're wearing a way so people say, oh, mashallah, this guy is cutting himself from the dunya. And you say, hold on. This is not cutting off yourself from the dunya. Someone could be driving a Lamborghini and not be attached to the dunya. Hard to believe, isn't it? But it's a fact. A person that's not attached to the dunya is someone, doesn't matter what the simple thing, you want to know if you're attached to this world or not? It's not about what you possess or have. It's that you own what you have, and what you have does not own you. You understand what I mean? See those people, you want to get in their car, before you get in, watch out, make sure your feet are clean, don't eat in my car. It's a car. It's supposed to take you from A to B, relax. What are you going so crazy over? That's all it is. Don't make a big fuss. You know, there's people that's how they treat people. The car owns him. He'll sit there and wax it and wash it, sit down and look at it all day, take selfies with it. Just the next second you think this person's in love with this car. If he could marry the car, he'd marry the car. He's that obsessed with the car. Allah. However, I still have to be representable. I can't be a Muslim that looks like something out of the Planet of the Apes. I got to look something that people look at me and they find me representable and someone that is what? Attractive and beautiful to look at. If they come next to you, they don't smell garlic when you burp. If they come near you, they smell the scent of a nice scent, a nice pleasant aroma. Not what they smell, they smell you, there's a cocktail of underarm smell mixed with God knows bad breath from food that's been lodged in there for how many years in their teeth. This is all important. If I have issue with my aroma, I should go see medical advice on how I fix it. A mu'min has to be someone that's representable. Even people used to question Imam al-Hasan al-Mushtaba alayhi salam because he was well dressed for prayers. What did he say? The same hadith. We're giving it to you from Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. From Imam al-Sadiq, this Imam al-Hasan's third Imam. He said, Inna Allah jamilun. Allah is beautiful. Yuhibbul jamal. Fatajammalu. He says, فَأَتَجَمَّلُوا لِرَبِّي. When I get to pray, sometimes people don't want to get up and pray. Honestly, when we get up and pray, how do we get up and pray? If you're in some people in their boxer shorts and their singlet, they'll get up and pray. There was a story I remember I heard about Allah yarhamu al-Hajj Qasim Sulaimani. Very nice story. That he called one of his soldiers to see him. The soldier turned up, they say, dressed in his pajamas, and he was wearing socks. And he came to Hajj Qasim. Hajj Qasim said, why haven't you wore your uniform to come? Or at least come presentable. He says, oh Hajj, when you called me, I was praying. When I finished the prayer, I was going to get dressed. Then I felt ashamed. This is the way I was dressed to pray to God. Am I going to turn up to you looking better? I felt ashamed for a moment. It's important for you to think, when I'm going to go sit with people, how are you going to go sit with someone foreign? How do you get dressed? How do I get dressed? When I'm going to sit with my brothers, how do I get dressed? I have to dress. Just because I'm with my brothers, you see people, when they get too comfortable, they get too comfortable. Sometimes you'll see a group of people, they'll sit together, they'll even do really weird things in front of each other, make noises not from their mouths, and have a laugh about it. And they're sitting in a group. These are your brothers. I've got to respect those that are around me. So he says, فَأَتَجَمَّلُ لِرَبِّي وَتَلَى قَوْلَهُ تَعَالَى. Then he recited the verse, يَا بَنِي آدَمَ خُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ. أحسنت. When you come to a masjid, why is a masjid? Masjid is not only because it's a place of prayer, only God, it's a place where people congregate. I must be someone that's presentable when I'm there. In the old days even, when it came to employment, when you employed people for a job, did you know one of the important things for employing someone or getting someone for a job, they had to be pleasant on the eye? Did you know that? They wouldn't, if you walked in and you had one of those mullets, where they've cut the sides of their hair, the hair's hanging, mate, they'll say, all right, mate, out into the ghetto somewhere. You're not going to get a job here. Or today you'll see someone that looks like a pincushion. Every dermal piecing, wherever they can find it, they put it, they give them a job. And it wasn't like that. Or you see someone that looks like a hedgehog. Their hair's just sticking out, they get a job. It's changed. Back in those days, or you see the female that walks in that looks like an icing on cake. Those ice cakes, they walk in. Or some of them even look like a museum exhibition. And they get a job. That's the way the world is today. But the presentation, everyone knows it's beauty. We call that what? Diversity. Or EEO, as they call it now, equal employment opportunity. They added another letter, I think. But anyway, it's what they do now is they say, all right, everyone has a chance to get a job. This person might look like something that, like I remember there was one guy they had, he went to Saudi Arabia to perform. The singer, he went to Saudi Arabia to perform. I'd never seen this guy before, but I wanted to watch this interview because it was important. This guy was going to Saudi Arabia with the Haramain there, and he's going to go sing there. And when I saw him, And I was listening to the story of how he was treated. Like, I remembered how the Hajjaj are treated when they go to Hajj. They're treated terribly. Yes, this guy, he said the actual Amir came because he refused to get off the plane because he didn't want to be searched. So the Amir came and said no one's allowed to even talk to him and let him off. The singer's name is Little Wayne, if anyone's seen this guy. I looked at him and I said, this guy's not even worthy to go in the red bin. Sorry, the recycle bin. You'd have to put him in the red bin. You couldn't recycle this guy. This is how vile he looks. He looks like something that you could think of the worst ingredients in a human being. He has them all. Yet people go listen to him, people look up to him, people enjoy. Even the Muslims were dying for them to be entertained by him. But I'm supposed to present myself in the best possible way. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would use things like lavender oil. He would comb his hair. Even his eyebrows, they would be combed. And to that point, his mustache, his beard, he would use misk, or musk as we say in Arabic, or ambergris, amber. He would use all these scents. In fact, he would be known, alaykum as-salam. When you go outside, you have street lights. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam would be known at night just from his smell. He smelt that nice, not that ugly trailblazer smell. You know those women that wear $2 perfume and they walk past, you feel like regurgitating what you had that morning from the smell. No, we're not talking about, we're talking about a pleasant smell. You know those smells? They're so pleasant. You smell, you smell musk al-abyad, proper musk. Smell the smell is amazing. Or when you smell amber, proper ambergris, not the fake manufactured stuff. You smell that nice smell of oud, the smell of the haram. They're pleasant smells. When you smell a nice smell, it's a pleasant smell. Rasulullah would have a nice smell. And in fact, it's recommended to spend on perfumes. It's very recommended that even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would spend more money on perfumes than he would spend on food. You know that saying we say in Arabic, Lebanese, we have this saying. We say, Ekol, Azawak, Elbus, Azaw an-Nas. Don't we say that? So eat like you want to eat, but when you dress for others. And for others, more important than yourself. Sometimes I see kids that want to go wayward. And they say to their parents, it's my life, I can do. No, it's not your life. You're wrong. You're in this world with other people. If you actually think it is your life, then go do what you want. See how long it'll take before you get locked up. You're not on your own. There are rules. And you respect these rules. Your parents have a reputation. You need to respect that reputation. So the people around you are humans and they have the right for you to be respectable and presentable, and that's the way that you should be. Okay. Firstly, how is it done? How do I beautify myself? Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam mentions in a narration that yunaddif thawbah. The first thing about being presentable is what? Having clean clothes. Not the thawbah. If you see something, don't wear something that is dirty and filthy. Wear something clean, not the thawbah. The second is وَيُطَيِّبْ رِيحًا, to fix my scent, the way that I smell. The third, is a bit difficult. The third, because it's not applicable to us in our time. He says وَيُجَسِّسْ دَارَهُ. Because justice is gypsum. Okay, so he says something about gypsum in their home. I actually researched this and I couldn't understand on how they would use it back then and how it can be applicable today. So, but I don't like to take something out of the hadith. Has a meaning, and I don't understand the meaning. But it has a meaning. One of you might understand what the actual meaning is there. Okay? Then he says, وَيَكْنُسُ أَفْنِيَتَهُ. To clean what? The opening of the house itself. So when we say afniyat, outside their home. If you ever notice, this is very important. Have you ever noticed, look, if you look at contrast of the Arab world and the Western world, generally, I'm not like generalizing, but generally you'll see this. In the Western world, outside their homes, look at the gardens, they're beautiful. How many of you guys are tradies and have to go into people's houses? You have to work. What do the houses smell like? How much dog hair gets on you while you're working? They're filthy. But outside you go, wow, this is a paradise. In the Arab world, it's the opposite. Arab world, you walk in, you can eat off the floor in the toilet. It's literally, that's how clean it is. Go outside. Outside, he's smoking a cigarette, throws it outside, opens a packet of cigarettes, throws it off the balcony. It's filthy. It's a scum hole. However, it should be clean inside and outside. So here the Prophet is saying, the Imam Salawatullah alayhi, Imam Sadiq says, what? To clean outside their home. Outside your home should be clean. You know those houses you walk in, and I don't know how many obstacles are on the footpath as you're walking in. And some people have taken it to another level. They just don't want to do any work whatsoever. What do? No grass, cement. Just cement everything so I don't have to work. That's how people have become now. Well, still, as long as it's clean. But that's what they've taken it to because they don't want to do anything outside. Another thing the Imam mentions in this hadith, he says, حتى إن السراج قبل مغيب الشمس ينفي الفاقر. So, ويزيد في الرزق. So he says about what? Turning on the lights before it gets dark. And have you ever been to those houses where they just have one light on and they make sure they dim the right to be? I was once at someone's house. Honestly, I'm not kidding. I went to this guy's house and it was not in this country, it was overseas. It was snowing outside. Okay? I'm asleep. And then I woke up in the morning, okay, and I wanted to have a shower. I went to have a shower, there was no hot water. I went to turn on the lights wouldn't turn on. So I thought there was electricity was cut off. So I turned and I had a shower in ice cold water. Now I can handle cold water. Someone else probably would have died. I had the shower finished. In the morning I told him, electricity cut out. He said, no. I said, what happened? He said, I just turned it all off. I said, what about the fridge? He goes, it's cold enough, it will last. Okay, how do you live like this? To save money, how do you this? It's a miserable life. Miserable life. How could somebody live like this? In fact, you're supposed to turn on the light. If you go to a shop, people that have a business, having a shop, one of the most important things in a shop is lighting. Because it makes your shop say you're welcome. You're not walking into the Adams family's house. It can't look like a haunted house when you're walking in. So I turn on the light. What it does, it increases your sustenance. It makes you richer and it prevents poverty. This is the way I need to represent this. I need to look after my hair even. You've seen those people that have dreadlocks because they don't wash their hair. And it's actually a style. I got to have this kind of presentation, even when it comes to men and women. A man comes home, a woman has to beautify herself for a husband. He's been working all day. Hala taban, we live in a different world. Men and women are both working. We both come home, they both have to be beautifying themselves for each other. They can't smell like work. They need to smell in a way where they're attractive to each other. However, a lot of people, when it comes to beauty, the thing they think about is physical appearance and the way God has created an individual. It's so bad. Think about this. Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam. How do they present him in the movie they made, the series? He's white and he's got colored eyes. This is how racist the world is. Yusuf wasn't white and he didn't have colored eyes. Yusuf was a Hebrew. Meaning what? He looked like us. he was an Arab looking, because Jews and Arabs look the same. That's what he looked like. But no, just like we have seen the pictures of Jesus, he's got this light brown, blondish hair, coloured eyes, and he's white. No, Jesus was a Hebrew. But because of this racist imagery, we tend to always want everything to be blonde hair, blue-eyed. You know? That's why you look when people want to get married. Those go, that's what they look like. They want something blonde. Why? Because they think that that's what can be like the white man. So we can have what's best, and this is what they have. This is what they seek. It's so bad. If you think about how bad it is, the black man wants to become white. You know, one of the biggest subjects that when I was a child that troubled me when I used to see people, one of the big subjects was Michael Jackson. A black man that did everything he could to look what? White. Why? Because they made him feel inferior. They made him feel like he was nothing because he was black. He thinned his nose. He needed surgery. Then he had to even lie about it. He said, I had this vitiligo illness that causes my skin to go white. Just so that he may be accepted. And they look for the external beauty. But the problem with even being externally attractive, you bring on what? You bring on vanity. You know, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. That's what people say. Why? And they become, what, have you ever heard the word when we say al-mukhtal? Someone that's mukhtal. What does it mean? What does it say when we say someone's mukhtal? We're one of the people that Allah will not even look at on the Day of Judgment is muqillun mukhtal. Someone that's nothing. You mean a human being that thinks there's something. You know, there's proud people. You know, they give him a wadhifi, they give him a job, they make him have a job, he suddenly thinks he's the president of the universe. You know, he's in charge of a few tables, he gets excited. Someone that's in a position where they see themselves so good, this person will lead themselves to destruction. And it makes you unattractive. But let's take a look at the things that make you beautiful in terms of actions. There's the beauty of the tongue. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam says, Al-jamalu fil lisan. And sometimes people say, Heda milsan, hannak. The problem people don't understand. It's good to have a nice tongue. It's bad to be what? Someone that does flattery or lip service. You know, I met someone, he saw me, he goes to me, Bi abi anta wa ummi. Shu ba'arfak? Do I know you? Shu bi abi anta wa ummi. And my mum and dad be sacrificed to you. I don't even know you from a bar of soap. How the hell do you say Bi abi anta wa ummi? You meet people, they talk like that to you. I remember a guy, he was sitting down, and every time people walk in, he turns around and goes, Inti tahir. I said, do you know the guy? Later, he says he looks like a good man. I go, you shouldn't say stuff like that. The guy, يمكن قتل له قتيل, and he's buried him, he's killed someone, buried him in the backyard, وانت بتقول له انت طاهر. Don't use lip service. And don't use flattery. Be polite with when you speak to others. People that swear are unattractive. Take a look at the people that walk, they can't say a sentence without using at least 3 F words. How do you feel about them? They can't, they keep swearing. You can't even construct a sentence without swearing. Worse than that are females that swear, the little Kims of society. They need to swear every 5 seconds to show that they are people that understand. To have a dirty tongue, that's why we remember, I know the new generation, our generation, the teacher used to tell someone if they swore, and they never used to swear the big words. Back in those days, I remember if you said damn, that was it, that was a swear word. You said damn, that was a swear word, honestly. Because you're talking about hell. Hell was also a swear word. Okay? So they'd say, I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap. Because your mouth is dirty, I'm going to wash it out with soap. So real beauty is actually given to everybody. Everybody has real beauty. And they choose to use it or not. Imam Hassan al-Askari, salawatullahi wa alayhi, the father of our Imam Sahib al-Amr, says, Husnul aql jamalun batin. Husnul aql jamalun batin. When we look at the word aql firstly, we'll say husnul aql, someone that uses the intellect. This is the hidden beauty. But what does it mean, aql? When we say aql, generally people think aql means, I don't know if you've heard in Lebanese culture, we'll say hada dhaki. Now, dhaki in Lebanese, they mean that this guy is smart. Someone that is good academically. That's what they mean. Someone's good at school, they say is dhaki. This doesn't mean intellect. This means this person's good with numbers, because there's different types of intelligence, you know that. Someone might be smart with numbers, but they're not smart. Like, for example, I'm very good theoretically. I'm terrible. Get me an IKEA table, I can't put it together. Something that simple, I can't. I'm one of those people that's always left with 3 or 4 screws after putting something together. And it's never level. Other people, they've got intelligence of putting things together. You know what I mean? I know the theory, not the practice. So everyone has some kind of intelligence, but that's not what we're talking about. What is aql? When we want to say someone's aql, what does it mean? Can you be aql? Can anyone? Everyone can be aql. Aql is someone that does what's right and doesn't do what's wrong. That's aql. Aql is someone that does what's right and doesn't do what's wrong. In fact, they ask Amir al-Mu'mineen, there's a man walking past, and this man has a mental illness. And they go, Hada majnoon. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, no, alayhi salam. This is not a majnoon. This person is someone that's afflicted mentally. Innahu musab. He says, wa amma al-majnoon. He says, the majnoon is the one, you know, the staunch. He says, the one that walks with his chest out and his arms by his side and walks through the street, staunchly. That's the majnoon. Because he's mad. You want to see... whenever someone goes to me, you want to see a mustashfat majanin, do you want to actually go to a, what do they call it? What's the word for it? A sanitarium. You want to go to a sanitarium to see people? Go to a gym. Gym is the biggest mustashfat majanin. You'll see them, they're all standing in front of the mirror. He's posing, he's looking at his triceps. The next second he's looking at his calves. And they'll sit there and they'll look, and then he'll go, you know what? My pecs don't look even. Something not right. You know, the other guy goes, you're not doing enough incline, I don't think. You know, that's the way that they work. And the whole thing, and if you notice the gym, it's surrounded by mirrors. Why? Because they can't get enough of who? They can't get enough of themselves. Have you seen when they pose, when they're doing Mr. Universe? They fight. It's all about posing to who can be in the front. Who can look the best? This is junun. The aql is someone that puts the right thing in the right place and puts the wrong thing. I'm not saying that everyone that goes to a gym is a majnoon. I'm saying this is a sanitarium. It's just like the marketplace, they say is the shopping center. They say this is the marketplace is the inhabitants of the hellfire. Doesn't mean everyone that's there is going to hell, but that's who you're dealing with when you're there. Anyway, this is the main beauty that we are talking about. The beauty of the aql. But real beauty that you will see is the beauty of paradise. The visual beauty. No imperfections. The mercy of Allah. When Allah says about the Jannah, tajri, because we say the word Jannah. Jannah, people need to understand, doesn't mean paradise. Jannah means garden. Because honestly, people like to sit in a garden. Then we like to see scenery. But honestly, who here likes to go, if you go, for example, to Malaysia, how many of you wants to go to the Petronas Towers, and how many of you wants to go to some isolated island and sit in the water? Or, people that want to go to Petronas Towers do not know what beauty is at all. People like to see greenery. People like to see animals. People like to see water. Why do you think we go to the water? We like beauty. We like, imagine paradise, Jannah, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, Tajri min tahtiha al-anhar. What does it mean that rivers flow beneath it? Allahu al-alam, what that means in its actual meaning. The beauty that Allah mentions of the Hur al-Ain in paradise, that's beauty. their beauty in a way that Allah Azza wa Jal says untouched pearls. Allahu al-alam, what Allah is talking about here. This is the beauty. See, sometimes people say, hold on, I like to look at things to appreciate their beauty. I was once with a gentleman, or the brother, overseas. He said to me, can I ask you a question? I said, Fadl. He said, sometimes I look at women, not with lust. He said, I look at them to appreciate their beauty. And I say, subhanallah, look at how good this creation is. He said, is this permissible? I said, I'm going to ask you a question. He said, what? I said, do you do the same thing with men? He said, hell no. I said, see, this is why it's haram. If you're actually looking to appreciate the creation of God, you'd be looking at everyone in this manner. You'd say, mashallah, look at this man, he's got firm biceps. Or mashallah, no, you're just looking at the other gender, which shows that your intention isn't pure. But beauty is everything that Allah Azza wa Jal has given you. That's why when Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad said to Sayyida Zainab alayha salam, he says to her in the hadith, كَيْفَ رَأَيْتِ صُنْعَ اللَّهِ. How have you seen, when he asked her the question, صُنْعَ اللَّهِ بِأَهْلِ بَيْتِكَ. How do you perceive what Allah has done to your Ahl al-Bayt? Listen to the question. See, a lot of people when they hear this hadith, and they hear that Sayyida Zainab said, مَا رَأَيْتُ إِلَّا جَمِيلًا, that I did not see except beauty. Do you know what they actually think? They think Sayyida Zainab is saying that what took place in Karbala was beautiful. No, of course not. She answered the question. How did you perceive what Allah has done to you? What have you seen from Allah except Jameel? All of us, what have we seen? خَيْرُكَ إِلَيْنَا نَازِلٌ وَشَرُّنَا إِلَيْكَ صَاعِدٌ. Only good comes from Allah. When bad happens, we do it to each other. We do it to each other. We harm each other. When things happen, we've done these to each other. So she said, I did not see except beauty. What is beautiful is what is given from Allah Azza wa Jal. And if you're not content with what you have today, then you'll never be content, ever. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give us the lasting and the beautiful abode of paradise without an account. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to keep us upon the path of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. We ask Allah not to take us from this world until He is pleased with us. We ask Allah to hasten the reappearance of our Master Al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan al-Mehdi, arwahuna fidah, and to grant us the opportunity to serve him and to stand beneath his standard and be martyred by his side. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. والأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات والأرواح موتانا وموتاكم، رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة مع الصلوات.